Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and three toes. I will beat your ass.
We some lions, don't let the boys get loose, but to play with our food any day that we choose. We some lions, got them all listening, time to make history, I want a victory. Lions, don't let the boys get loose, but to play with our food any day that we choose. We some lions, got them all listening, time to make history, I want a victory. Lions, don't let them boys get loose, it's a new day. Honolulu Blue got the boys on a crusade. Campbell throwing dukes, got golf at the Wings game. Hear his name, replay and replay and replay. Got him off the leash every Sunday. David Montgomery, Gibbs on the runway. Take a shot at Jameson and stumble out the hallway. Running in the hutch any day, that's a bad day. They don't wanna bring us up, keep us off the airways. America's team, sick of dealing with these Cowboys. Keep it in your hostess, you've been cheating like an off day. We got Slim Shady.
Welcome to the show, the one ass cheek and three toes. I got my co-host here, B Strilla. How you doing, B?
What's going on? Ready to go,
man. Yeah, Jay's not going to be with us today. He had to work late. So, hey, Jay, hope you're listening. Hope to have you back next week, buddy. Be a big game next week. But let's talk about last week or last Thursday. First off, did you have a good Thanksgiving, B?
Oh, yeah. It was decent.
Did you eat a lot of turkey?
Yeah, no. Well, yeah, I had a little bit. You know, it wasn't much. I'm not really. What can I say? I ate a little bit of turkey. I mean, I am a huge turkey fan. I just didn't eat a whole bunch of turkey this time.
I get you.
Feeling it.
I only eat turkey once a year, man, and that's Thanksgiving. So I enjoyed it.
That's the year, yeah.
You know,
that's the once of the year.
Yeah, exactly. It's the one time. Man, I almost thought I was gonna have to spit my food out there at the end. It made us sweat a little bit, but the Lions did come out with a victory, 23-20. Yep. Let's talk about that game. What do you take away from that game? What are some takeaways from you?
Well, like I was saying to you, behind the stage, behind the scenes there, that Chicago is number one in the red zone right now. They're number one defensive red zone. So it kind of did. Once I read that, I kind of didn't shock me. The reason why the Lions struggled so much from getting touchdowns. Remember, there's 3 field goals kicked. One missed, by the way. So we should have been 26 points right there. If we didn't score the two field goals, the one I can understand, but the 2 field goals that we were in the red zone, we should have got touchdowns off of. But again, self-inflicted mistakes added on to the fact that Chicago has a really good red zone defense. Definitely. We did the same thing to Chicago for the first 3 quarters. They did. Hey, for all the jokes that we say about Caleb, he was looking pretty good. The only thing that I just I was kind of upset about is the way that he, when he got hit out of bounds. Oh, and he was crying about that, and it was a legitimate hit.
Stupid, man. Because it's college, he would have juked the defender and tried to score a touchdown. It's the NFL, bro. You get out of bounds, man. You'll live longer, And Jack made him realize that. So hopefully next time he has that situation, he just gets out of bounds.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes is going to find that out one day too much too. Someone's going to lay his ass out because you know how he does. He goes for the sideline, tries to make that little switch cut so he can go down further, and that's going to hurt him later on too. Somebody's going to tag his ass, and it's the same thing that they did to Caleb, and nobody aimed at his legs. So come on, get out.
It was in bounds. It was a clean play. Jack was trying to make the tackle, man, because he doesn't know if he's going to juke him and try to get more yards. Right. I mean,
exactly.
This is the NFL. You got players hurdling players all the time. J-Mo, Right. So I mean, you got to take him out when you take him out. So yeah, it was stupid. So like I was saying earlier to you, I felt like this game was really in the Lions' hands the whole time. It was 23-6 in the fourth quarter, and then Gibby fumbles the ball. And if Gibby don't fumble the ball, they probably score another touchdown and makes it 30-6, and it's pretty much game right there. Gibby gave him life, and I think with that life, they got momentum. And Caleb did make some good throws. I'll give him his props. He made some good throws to Keenan Allen. He made that one. He made a good throw to Moore with Branch on him. Branch had good coverage. I was just a dot. He just threw a dot to DJ Moore. But for the most part, the Lions kept the receivers in check. Like, they didn't really swift and do shit. Like, the receivers really didn't have a big game at all. AG called another great defensive game, especially, we lost Rodrigo in the game. Pascal went out. We didn't have CD in that game. So, at one point you had Vildor and Dorsey as your starting cornerbacks because Dan didn't want to put Tarian out there early in the game because he wasn't sure how he was going to respond. But Tarian played well too. I want to get your thoughts on the Vildor PI, man. What the hell was that, dude? Was that just one of those plays where they just wanted to keep the game close and the better betting?
Well, the last 10 minutes of that last 5 minutes of that fourth quarter was just bad call after bad call. I mean, it was bad call after bad, and it went both ways.
But that Vildor was horrendous, dude.
The Vildor one, yeah, that wasn't a very good call. It wasn't
even close.
Oh, yeah, ball. So I don't even know why they even called that. But at the same time, like I said, there was a couple of plays that went the Lions' way too. We did have a couple of good calls on our side and a couple of bad calls on Chicago's side. So I mean, it evened out really. The sack by Smith at the end,
huge.
If they got their shit together, the coaching staff got their shit together, then a field goal would have been a long field goal. And as much as the Bear fans want to say, "Oh, we would have won the game," you ain't gonna win a game on with 13 seconds left against one of the best red zone defenses out there. It's not gonna happen, bro. Not gonna happen.
And Zadarius, man, let's give him props, man. Zadarius was all over the field in that game, and probably should have had a couple more sacks. I think he finished with 1.5 sacks. But man, I watched this guy play. This guy, first off, this guy's a big man. He's a big dude. Like, you think Aiden's a big guy? This guy's a big dude. And he's just relentless, man. He's just everywhere. He wreaks havoc on all O-lines. And that sack was huge because, yes, the Bears messed that up themselves. But even with that sack, like you said, it would have pushed them out into a longer field goal. And the more you push a field goal out, the better chance you have to block it. And the Bears have had 2 blocked already. So, it could have been 3 in a row. But needless to say, the Lions did get the win. It wasn't the prettiest. And we've come to see this be about the Lions that, they don't play the cleanest game sometimes. But this team finds ways to win. And you can't say enough about the way Dan has these guys ready to go and prepared, and just a mentality that, hey, we're built for this. So even if we're down, we can come back in this game. We just got to believe, and we got to take one play at a time. And, even when the Bears made it close, I think all Lions fans were kind of like, oh yeah, we still got this. And you knew the Bears were going to find a way to screw it up. I mean, bad teams find ways to screw it up. I mean, back in the day, that was us. We were the Bears. We were the ones that were always finding ways to lose. We were like, how the hell did that happen? And now that we've shifted the focus and the culture to more of a winning mentality, now we just find ways to win, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, I mean, even with the pass interference call against Vildor, they were on a 44, I believe, and that was like a 3rd and 14, 4th and 14, and that penalty bailed them out. However, the Lions still stood up. When the game was over, the Chicago was on their own 41-yard line, so they only gained 3 yards. In 4 downs, and like I said, that sack was timely. You got to kick a 58-yard field goal to tie it.
Yeah, worst case scenario would have gone to overtime. More likely.
Yeah, that's the worst case scenario. But I don't have faith in their kicker like I do Bates.
I don't think Bears would have missed
that. I don't think he would have. I think he would have missed it. or it would have got blocked. Something, I don't know if it got blocked, but they definitely would have missed it. So
Right.
I don't understand how people can say, oh, well, they would have won the game if they would have done this and that. No, they wouldn't have. They would have just at best tied the game. And don't let the Lions get the ball because it'd been over.
And the thing is, like I said, is Bear fans can say all they want to say, but the Lions had that game in control. I mean, the Bears had no points at halftime. I mean, you knew that the Bears were going to get something going because your offense can't be inept the whole game. You got to figure that at some point they're going to make some plays. You know, like I said, I think the Gibby fumble pretty much gave them the belief, because if you go down 30-6, it's game over. You know, and I don't even know if Caleb scores another touchdown, because I think that they'll be sort of demoralized having to come back in that game.
Right.
Who was your MVP of the game?
I would have to say my MVP of that game. Hold on a minute here. Let me go back. I got to refresh myself. I would say my guy of the game. Offensively, I would have to give it to. I'm going to give it to Goff. Goff did a pretty good job. Yeah, because
Goff played clean, man. He played pretty clean. Yeah.
He only got one sack. They only gave up one sack. Again, offensive line, the beast. Did well. I think Goff made some pretty good decisions based on the defense that he saw.
Yeah, 21 to 34, two touchdowns, 10 average, 221 yards. Yeah. You know, pretty Goff-like, you know.
Yeah.
And that's pretty good against a good defense, you know, like you said. Keyword, no interceptions. That was huge.
I think on defense, once they got my MVP for defense is Reader.
Yeah.
I mean, he had two sacks.
Yeah, Reader was balling out, man. He was balling out. He ate early. Yeah. He got 4 tackles, 2 solo, 2 sacks, 2 TFLs. Yeah, he was all over the place. Yeah, good for DJ Reader, man. I'm glad. Because everybody says DJ Reader always just a big guy in the middle. No, he can rush the passer. Like AG said that many a times about DJ Reader. He can do more than just stuff the line. So, all right. Well, mine is going to be, you know what? I'm going to go with Tim Patrick. Tim Patrick made some big catches. He only had 2 catches, but it was 48 yards, 24-yard average. His long was 30. He's really fell in well with this offense. Like, you know, I know recently, you know, Josh Reynolds was released from the Denver Broncos, once again showing that Brad Holmes is a genius, and picked up by the Jags. And I'm sure a lot of Lions fans are clamoring, oh, we need Josh Reynolds. No, we don't. Tim Patrick is balling the fuck out, man. Like, the guy, I don't know if you watch the Sights and Sounds I sent y'all, but like Amarat said, like, I thought you were going to burn that or go for a touchdown or break that. And Tim Patrick's like, no, I'm not going to do that, dude. But, you know, like the guy just fits well, you know, and I knew this is what we're going to get with him. A big play kind of guy that's going to stretch the field and make those big contested catches. Like, he's kind of like what we had with DJ Chark. You know, DJ might have been faster, but Tim Patrick, I think, has better hands than DJ does and better route running, because Tim Patrick just gets open, man. And, hey, that's all we need, man. That's all we need. He was a missing piece for that offense.
You got to remember something. For Denver's offense, when he was healthy, he could have been a number 1 receiver on that team, because he was playing at that level when they got him before he got hurt. So I think that's just another wide receiver too, playing in a wide receiver slot, you know? So, I mean, either way, he's great. As far as you know, Josh Reynolds is concerned, and I saw that Jacksonville picked him up, that I don't think I couldn't say it was a brilliant move by Brad, because they were going to try to sign him. He was just not as important to sign at the time.
Yeah.
And Josh and of course, Lions fans here. They send him all kinds of dumbass stuff in his Instagram account and all that stuff. Talk about you drop passes, you suck, fuck out, that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to play for a fan base either like that. That was pretty terrible.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But
for sure.
at the same time, again at the same time he's Goff's boy, but he drops passes in big games, and that was like the Super Bowl the Rams were in against New England. He dropped a couple key passes in that game too. So I think he went because he got paid more by the Broncos. The Broncos had more faith in him, and just to get cut later on, but they got to pay him all that money.
He thought. I think he also thought he was going to get more playing time too, because they had a younger receiving core. Other than Sutton, they really didn't have anybody else, and so he thought he would be more of the 2 receiver. To where Detroit, he would have probably been the 3rd behind J-Mo and Amara and Laporte.
Yeah, it kills me too. At the same time, those same fans who were yucking him out of here are the same ones that are saying, "Oh, we can get him back." Man, shut up and sit your ass down. You didn't want him in the first place. We don't got no problem.
The reality is that Tim Patrick's better than Josh Reynolds.
Yeah, and then we got
before the season.
Robinson. So we got plenty of receivers. So
and Leaf will be back.
Not even a case.
Yeah. Definitely.
That's not even a thing. We don't have no problems with the offense. So
I agree. All right. And my defensive MVP will be Zadarius Smith. Like I said, 3 tackles, 3 total tackles, 3 total tackles, 1 solo, and 1.5 sacks. The guy's been everywhere. I mean, probably should have had at least 3 sacks. I mean, he whiffed on a couple of them. I think he's still kind of feeling his way into the system and all that. But he makes plays. Like that is very obvious. He messes things up. He's in the backfield. He's relentless. Like I can't tell you, man, how excited I am when 97's back and 50. What's his number?
99.
99 and 97. Next year, the book ends. That's going to be fun, dude. That's going to be fun. Like, because you talk about 2 relentless pass rushers that just going to raise hell on quarterbacks next year. Man, I can't say. Maybe we might see it earlier. Hey, Aiden's already walking, man. Like, every time I see these videos, I get chills. I'm like, man, if they start showing videos of him running and cutting. Oh, my God, bro.
He'll be all right. He's a young man. He'll heal fast. As long as the thing about having those kind of injuries, though, your confidence level, how you want to run on your leg and stuff like that. Because you break a leg, and I experienced that breaking a leg. And I was young when that happened to me too. Your confidence is always there because you're young and you're dumb and you don't give a damn because you're invincible at that point in your life. And so usually that goes away. For a football player, it takes a little longer because you make your money doing this, and it affects your speed. It does affect things that you do. Sure. And this was an accident basically caused by one of his linemen. So it wasn't like somebody went out there and mauled him.
No, it was trying to freak injury.
It's a freak injury. So he should be fine. Like I said,
I'm just excited. The progress he's making, and like I said, if the Lions get to where we expect them to get, having 97 there on Sunday in New Orleans, man, I can't even tell you how crazy the fan base is going to be, how crazy he will be. Right. That's insane. Like I said, start writing the book. But so to wrap up the Bears, the Lions squeaked by. Probably should have won this at least by 2 touchdowns. I think they made it closer for the bettors. It was Thanksgiving. It was one of the highest watched games, which is not surprising. It's Thanksgiving, But you did make comments during the game, and I do want to highlight those about saying that it is a division rival. And when you play division rivals, usually the games are pretty close because these teams know everything about themselves. So,
Yeah, I mean, and Chicago's got one of the best defenses the Lions have played.
Sure.
I can tell you that right now. I don't think there's any defense they played at as good as the Bears right now. Their offense was pretty good too in the second half, but I think it was most part because defensive line was getting demoralized by all the injuries that were happening. I think the only guys that were really playing real hard through that whole thing was Aleem. And let's not forget about Muhammad. Muhammad got a sack
Muhammad
too.
balled out. Yeah,
yeah, he balled out.
I like Muhammad a lot.
This is why I'm saying, when we get up to the Packers, the Packer fans are talking about, oh, you guys are decimated with injuries. We're gonna whoop your asses, dude. you don't understand football. You don't watch the Lions. You just have this weird thing about the Lions are just a SOL team. No, we're not. Dan's got them out there playing. He's like, I don't care. Next man up. Let's go. Let's do this.
And I'm glad you said that, B, because we just turned the calendar to December after the Lions' last game. And you can tell the shift in the Lions' focus because this is where we want it to be. We want to be in the playoffs. Check. We're going to be in the playoffs. We wanted to maybe wrap the division. Check. We're probably going to wrap up the division more likely. We're looking now to get the 1 seed. So everything comes to Detroit. So now the Lions it's go time.
Mm-hmm.
You made it through the season. You've got the final stretch here. Obviously, we want to win out. More wins. But this is the final stretch until we get to the playoffs. And that's where it all matters, is getting to the playoffs. And I'll give you an example. Scotty Montgomery, I love watching his pressers. I don't know if you ever watch his pressers. He speaks like a head coach. But they asked him about the Sonic and Knuckles video and all that. This is what he said. He's like, hey guys, we had fun. It was good. But we're on to December. It's time. Put up or shut up. I love that. And that all starts with Dan Campbell. I guarantee you. Dan Campbell sets the tone for the mentality of this offense. Of this team. And all the coaches follow in line with it. But I love hearing that because everybody's mindset just, okay, that was fun. Moving on. We're on to the next game. We know what's in front of us. We got bigger, better things to worry about than whatever was in the past. So I love that, man. That's how winning teams build winning cultures. Is I think of the Patriots. The Patriots had games, I'm sure, where they had fun and they joked around. But Bill Belichick, the biggest party crasher of all, always says, on to the next team. It's on to the next team. Let's focus. Let's get on to the next one. Andy Reid, same guy. Hey, you can have the cheeseburgers comment and all that, but hey, next one. It's on to the next game. That's how it goes. So, yeah, I don't expect to drop off from this Lions team. I really don't. I think that the mindset of Dan Campbell is installed in all these players, and it trickles down. Starts from the top, goes to the coach staff, goes to the players, goes to everybody. Everybody knows what's at stake now and what's in front of us. So, yeah. So we got Ken coming on in about 7 minutes. He is our fellow Whacker fan. He's going to talk to us about why he thinks the Whackers are going to win on tomorrow. Should be fun to hear that. I kind of want to give him shit about the last game. See what his thoughts on that one were. But we got about 7 minutes. B. Let's talk a little bit about some of the transactions the Lions made while we were gone.
Yeah.
So I don't have them off the top of my head. I know Jonah Williams was from the Rams practice squad. He was signed on to the Lions. Jamal Adams, former All-Pro, is on the Lions roster now. I think he's going to be brought up.
He was
to
on
the
Tennessee.
active.
Yeah, he was in Tennessee.
Strickland got released. Mo Alexander is back on the practice squad. Probably will be brought up because for the punt return duties.
Miles Adam was from Seattle's practice squad. He's a defensive
Seattle's practice squad. He's
guy.
a defensive guy. Yeah.
Yep. And who else did we sign? We signed somebody else too.
Oh, linebacker, right? Did we sign linebacker? Oh, yeah, Quan Alexander.
Quan Alexander, yeah. How the hell I forget about him? Yeah, Quan Alexander. Yeah, he's on there now. So I mean, it's like these are players that they know they're not going to be here long. They're going to be here as long as we need them to be here. And I think even Jamal Adams even made a question about that. He says, "I know I'm not going to be here long, but whenever they call me up to do what I got to do, then I'm going to do it for them. I'm work hard and get the job done for Dan and them, because the Lions are kicking ass." So, I mean, if that motivates you to do something good, because the team that called you up is like, "Hey, we're 11-1. You want to come play?" Sure.
Yeah, and he sounded so excited when they interviewed him. Like he's like, AG called me. Yeah, AG called me, and I said, absolutely, I want to come play for y'all. And Quan has history with AG in New Orleans. Mm-hmm. So again, follow the bouncing ball. A lot of these Lions, a lot of these players that the Lions pick up off of their practice squads have former relations with the coaches. Mm-hmm. David Long was tied with Coach T. So yeah, I don't know, man. Like these are some interesting moves, because Quan Alexander for a minute was a pretty good linebacker in his early years. He's had some injuries, but he can play. He's a heady linebacker who can tackle and has good speed. And then, of course, Jamal Adams speaks for himself. Jamal Adams was an all-pro, bro. I mean, injuries kind of hampered him. But if you can, like I told you in the chat, if he can even utilize him like he used Iffy, man, that's going to be beautiful. Because then you've got him rushing the passer. You got BB you could put coming after the passer. Man, that's some mad speed you got going. And I think there's a reason why they're running him at the linebackers too. Because he's kind of like a hybrid linebacker safety kind of guy. Mm-hmm. And he's not going to
Jamal Adams made his living basically doing that, playing a low safety. So he's never got it. You would want to play high safety because he's not really that great in coverage. But if to get to stop run plays and to get after the quarterback, Jamal Adams
lay out some people. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly that's what he's going to bring. He's going to bring like the Cam Chancellor to this defense, a big safety who can range, but also has speed and athleticism, and also can cover tight ends. That's going to be a big one too. So yeah, I'm anxious to see how AG is going to utilize these guys, preferably Quan and Jamal. Because I think those are the two guys you're probably going to see they're going to be brought up for the game tomorrow. Any other thoughts? We still got about 3 minutes.
Well, I think that they're going to use all of them. Dan already said they're using all those guys, so they're going to be up there active.
Can they bring them up, or can they all bring them up at the same time?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Strickland got let go, so I'm probably. But he was on the active.
Jamal's
going to
be on there, yeah. And then he's taking a place at Strickland, and which is. I like Strickland. Hopefully we can bring him back. But here we go. All right. Well, we can get on here. Let's hold on here. And
there he is.
What's up there, guys?
How you doing?
Ken W. Packer. What's going on, man? The beard.
Gandalf beard. Well, welcome back, man. I'm glad to have you back. It's always hard to find a true Whacker fan out there that can be honest and real with their team, and also give it to us in an honest and realistic fashion. There's not just a troll. Because we definitely know a lot of those.
Don't get me wrong. I still get a little bit of troll in it here now and again, but I try to be as even-keeled as I can with my takes.
Yeah, and we try to too. It's just that when you're a homer, like we all are, you just know what you have, and you know what your team's about, and so. You don't hide from how you feel.
Absolutely.
And So that being
But at
said,
the same time, we all like football, and we got to be honest
Absolutely.
of what's put in front of us. You know what I'm
But
saying?
if we
So
suck,
that's-
we suck. But
Yep.
you know, we don't suck. So you know,
I've been in a lot of those
despite what people think.
conversations.
Oh yeah,
Too many times.
Despite what some of the people might say, you know, we don't suck. You can't be 11-1
not
and
now.
suck.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Anybody saying that you're just messing with you, because
Yeah.
shit. Even the John Dorns of the world will tell you honestly that you guys do have a good team. He just like screwing with you every now and again, and by now and again I mean like 80% of the time.
Yeah, I say John Dork because he acts like a dork sometimes.
Big cheese, whatever his name is, he's always putting something.
Oh,
like that.
little.
So
You mean little? You mean
little cheese? Yeah,
little
big
cheese. There's not big about
that dude.
him.
He puts the lines in his mouth like every day. It's like, dude,
Red free.
Can you talk about the Vikings or even the Bears? Damn, you just got to talk about the Lions all the time.
They hate us because they ain't us. That's the reality. Is you guys are trailing
he hates
us
that way.
So that's why they're always thinking about us because they're not us right now.
I will speak from my personal view of the reason why I'm starting not to like some Detroit fans. Obviously, not all of them, because I'm here with you guys.
Sure.
But is that they're getting extremely boastful, like massively overdoing it to a point to where,
Well,
they ain't been there.
I know.
We haven't been there. Look, okay,
they ain't been there before. They haven't been there before. So you gotta kinda,
exactly. When you suck for so many years and you finally get a taste of the good stuff, you're gonna be a little bit
ballsy
on drugs. Like, you're gonna be talking a little bit out of your ass half the time, but that's okay because we're enjoying it. Like we're enjoying the ride because like I said, we have been dumpster fire and dog shit for the longest time in this division. Y'all have beat us up, made fun of us, joked around, all this stuff. Well, now it's payback.
I never got the Packer fans that sat there and trashed the Lions before, because to me, and it's not even a dig, even though it's going to sound like it, is that I looked at you guys kind of like the little brother type of shit of, sure. You know, you're in the division, but I didn't really see you as a threat. So I never really talk shit to Lions fans. Well, but now that you guys are a legitimate threat in the NFC North, now the shit talking can begin.
But you know why it's that way is because of how we built it. You get the right coach, you get the right GM, and once you have those two cogs in play, then you can build the roster and build the culture. And that's what the Lions have done for the longest time that we haven't done in the past.
Yes.
That's what's different about this team or this era of Lions football is that it's been built and done right. When we've been hoping for the longest time that in the past years it was done that way, but it never was. Now it's finally been done right, and you've grown this from the bottom up to where it is now. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I tell all these trolls and all that, this is not the SOL team. That's buried because the SOL was represented the losing culture and represented the inept management that we had. This is the new Lions because you brought in a guy like Brad Holmes, who's a mastermind when it comes to building a team. And then you have Dan Campbell, the ultimate leader that gets his players to run through walls for him, or even players that want to come and run through walls for him. You have those two working in unison together, and then you just build the roster. The roster's just better. You know, when you draft well, your team's better. You know that because you're a Packer fan. You guys turned your team around pretty quickly because of who you drafted. Right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. And I honestly give Dan Campbell more of the credit for turning your team around than I do Brad Holmes. Granted, Brad Holmes did pick good players and all that.
Yeah.
Well, I think Dan Campbell was very pivotal for you guys turning it around. Like when he was an assistant coach with the Saints, I absolutely freaking loved the guy. And I hated hearing that he went to a division rival because I knew how intense the guy was. And back from when he was on the Saints, the players loved him then and played very hard.
Definitely. All right. Well, we can stop exchanging pleasantries. Let's get into the nuts and bolts. So let's talk about the matchup tomorrow on Thursday night in Detroit on Prime TV or Prime Video, whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah, whatever they phrase it.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna go by the injury report real quick. So ours came out. Pascal is out, Levi's out, Reeder's out, and Decker are out. Right? Did I get them all right?
Yep.
B? Okay. So three defensive linemen are out, and our starting left tackle is out. And then for y'all, I believe Alexander's out, Valentine is out, Cooper's out, Dobbs is out. Okay.
Those are our 4 guys that are out. Yeah.
So any of those that are out concerning for you, Ken?
Romeo Dobbs, I'd really like to have out there. Granted, it's not a super alarm bell, just like with Alexander. I'd really like to have him out there because he's the best corner on the team by far. Mm-hmm. But we've played decently well without him. The one that I'm still not the happiest about is Edgerrin Cooper being out.
Yeah,
because
Cooper has been playing well. I like Cooper.
Oh yeah,
he's a good run stopper.
Yep, and that's exactly why I was hoping he was going to play this game to help contain your 2-headed monster.
Yeah,
the big ass.
I mean, for me on our side, I was talking to Nate about this. I think Reeder is very detrimental for our defensive line. Yep. We can lose players, and we've got a lot of defensive players on IR right now and out. But Reeder is like a stabilizing force on the defensive line to me. Mm-hmm. And even though we have Bodrick Martin, who's second-year rookie now, he's sophomore year.
Who hasn't played really at all? Hasn't
played really, yeah. There's nobody that can replace Reeder. It's kind of like the same thing we had with Hutchinson. Ain't nobody can replace Hutchinson. So, we had to have 5 guys to take the place of one guy, basically, just to do that job. And that's basically what we're doing with Reeder right now. We got a defensive lineman we got from Seattle that we're going to put in there. We got Bodrick Martin. So we're going to be doing all kinds of different things.
A lot of rotation guys.
We got Jamal Adams, and we also got Quan Alexander. So that should help our run defense because Josh Jacobs ain't no joke. He's a very good running back. Yeah. And the difference, I think the difference between now, I think Jordan Love is going to have to drop back and pass more. The only reason why I say this is because when we played you guys at Lambeau, it was wet, nasty, bad conditions for footing. And I don't think that, the Lions really do a good job against run stopping. They're one of they're 6th in the league. 5th in the league against the run. So
with all the bodies they've lost too.
With all the bodies what they lost, and they're still 5th. So and there's a combination that goes along with that because usually the teams that we play we're kicking their ass by that time, so they're going to pass, so they don't run the ball much after that, just to keep the defense honest. But with Josh Jacobs, he did a pretty good job in Green Bay against us, and I want to see if our defense, if that was because of the weather conditions or because Josh Jacobs is that guy. I like Josh Jacobs. I liked him when he played for then the Oakland Raiders. But yeah, I like him a lot. I just want to see. That's the thing that I want to see in this game because we did let him run wild in that game a little bit. So,
but then they stopped running him. That was surprising.
Because they were behind. That's why.
Yeah, but still, it was still a close game, and they still stopped running him.
Yeah, that's one of the things I don't like about LaFleur is he's very quick to abandon the run. Say you guys stuff it 3 times, he's going to say, all right, we got to get away from the run. When Josh Jacobs, that 4th time could be a freaking 50-yard run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I was concerned this week going with Reeder playing like because Jacobs has been on a tear lately and has been playing well. Now with Reader out, yeah, I think Josh Jacobs very well could get over 100 with it against us.
That's what I'm thinking. And especially if you watch the past couple of games of Green Bay, the offense is flowing through Josh Jacobs, and that offensive line is run blocking better than I've seen in a very long time out of a Green Bay offensive line. Usually we have outstanding pass protection and an all right run blocking line.
You know what's hilarious? You know what's hilarious is that you look at the top teams that have paid their quarterbacks: Lamar, Hurts, Love, Goff. What's Allen? What's the staple they all have? They all have a running game, and they all start running the football first and let their quarterbacks become game managers of the game for the most part, which is crazy when you pay all that money to those quarterbacks. Like basically,
what I think it is that they're paying them all that money for when they have to put the Superman cape on during the game. You want the run game to be a good part of your offense to where it takes a lot of pressure off of them, because very few quarterbacks are going to be amazing when they're throwing 50 plus times a game.
Right. Yeah, very few. I want to go back to
both quarterbacks, Goff and Jordan, when they throw excessive amount of times. Stuff tends to happen.
Mm-hmm. I want to go back to that comment you said about the Superman cape. I would probably say Lamar and probably Allen probably be in that conversation.
Allen has that Superman cape freaking sewed into his skin.
Oh yeah, for sure. but like with Love and Hurts, it honestly, the way I look at it is that you have to have a balance with those two quarterbacks, because if you ask Hurts to drop back or Love to drop back 20 to 30 times at least, they tend to not be accurate at times, and they put the ball in harm's way. And so you definitely want them in more of a 20-25 range, but also have an effective running game to kind of not let them. Let's put it this way. They don't want them to be Superman. Let's put it that way, because if they put them at Superman, they probably are going to fail, because they love when it looks like Superman, he throws a lot of picks too. So, it's kind of like the Jameis Winston effect. If you want Jameis Winston to throw 3 touchdowns, he's probably going to throw 2 interceptions too along with it. That's a gunslinger mentality. You know what I'm saying?
Jordan Love definitely has the gunslinger mentality, and he is going to throw some interceptions. Though I do think his interceptions got inflated this year because of him playing hurt and not being able to have the base that he usually does. He was throwing a lot off of his back foot with most of the interceptions he threw this year. And I think that was a major contributing factor to it.
Also too, and I think this is fair to say, when I look at the Packers, like last year, the reason why Love was so good last year was because of Aaron Jones. When Aaron Jones played, Love had some of his best games. And with Josh Jacobs finally figured out this Packer offense and kind of got going, again, Love is playing some of his best games. Like, Love needs a running game. I don't think you can have Love just throwing the ball back there all the time, because it's just not – he's not that type of quarterback. Just like Jalen Hurts is not that type of quarterback.
For a couple of games, I absolutely 100% believe that he can drop back there 40-something times and throw that ball. But I don't think that it's a sustainable thing for an entire season.
Yeah.
But he did have quite a few games. Well, not quite a few. He had a chunk of games where Jones was still out when he was turning it on. But I will agree, having a stalwart running back definitely helps. It helps any quarterback. I don't care who you are.
Well, yeah, of course, but especially because if you look at Love's stats last year, he turned it around when Aaron Jones was healthy. Because I think Aaron Jones was out a lot part of the beginning part of the year last year for y'all.
He was out about I'd say the middle third of
Yeah.
the season. And the last like 3 games he was out is when Jordan Love was starting to catch fire.
Mhm.
And it helped cement it.
So tell me, why do you think you guys are going to win tomorrow? What is your thought process on that?
That we are finally playing as a complete team these past couple of weeks for the first time this season, not just playing a quarter and a half of football. We had
Now,
lot
who have y'all played? Let's be real.
I
The
mean,
Dolphins were not good.
don't act like the Dolphins were absolute shit because
They look like absolute shit. They did. They
Well,
couldn't even field the punt.
how about the first 3 weeks prior to the Packers game when they were on an absolute tear once Tua came back? They were trending upward until Green Bay smacked them down to earth.
But we were the best team that y'all played before those games.
Well, in fairness, okay, every team is a threat, okay? But in fairness, the 2 teams that they beat before you, Vegas and New England.
Yeah, but they did look good enough, is what I'm saying.
I mean,
y'all played a decimated 49ers team who pretty much still has injuries.
Yeah, I don't think the 49ers are going to win any more games. I just don't see it.
But I mean, we're probably the best team that y'all have played since.
I mean, it might be
last
Chicago,
time.
I don't know.
The thing is, you haven't been tested. Really, tell us now. So we were the last loss for y'all, and now here we are again. So what do you expect differently this time around that you didn't see the last game? Because last game, let's be honest. I mean, we were expected to come in and just fall apart. Like all Packer fans think we're going to do this tomorrow too. Like, you guys were hot. You guys were coming in hot that game, and we were coming in hot. And everybody, all I heard was like, "Oh, we're gonna lose this game. We don't win in Lambeau. Goff can't play in the rain." All that stuff. Y'all looked worse in the rain than we looked like in the rain. So, what do you expect differently this game from last game to this game?
That we are playing a lot cleaner football. We shot ourselves in the foot almost as much as we could in that game. It came to a lot of points, a lot of positions in the game where it was like, what's the worst thing that could happen here? And that's what's happening. You'd have a shit ton of drops and Jordan Love not being healthy and throwing that ball in some very questionable positions, especially that pick 6. That's the one that really gets me. Like, I can take some of his interceptions. Like you were mentioning before, it comes with the gunslinger mentality, but those pick 6.
That was Kirby's pressure. Like Kirby in position.
That was also a tip ball. That was a tip ball, and Jordan Love falling away as he's throwing. That was a horribly advised throw.
But you're going to get that with Jordan Love because he's that type of quarterback who likes to throw off platform. Again, these quarterbacks like Caleb, Jordan, Mahomes, you got to live and die with their off-platform throws.
Yeah, I don't mind the off. Yeah, I don't mind the off-platform throws. It's once you're falling away and trying to throw out of a sack type of shit.
But that's the Superman mentality that you were saying.
Yeah,
that's what a Superman does.
It's just sometimes it's better just to take the sack, and I'm glad that he actually took the sack these past couple of games because I think it was against the 49ers that he had another spot where it looked like, oh my God, Jordan, don't do it. And he just tucked the ball and took the sack. So I finally think he learned after having it happen to him twice this season that, hey, I shouldn't do that.
Yeah, and the comment that was put on here, do you think it was more of the Packers shooting themselves in the foot or the Lions are just that good? I think it was a combination of both, to tell you the truth.
That's what I'm
drop pass. I mean, Packers fans are complaining about, well, the receivers weren't catching them while they were dropping passes. I said, well, the Lions weren't doing that. But that's a difference.
They
there.
did drop some passes, but they weren't.
They dropped
touchdowns.
passes, and
I think Wicks dropped one.
Some of them could have, a couple of them could have been touchdowns had they caught them in stride, but they didn't. So the point of the matter is, it was more of both of the combination of the two, because I think the Lions were playing at the top of their game at that time too, and everybody had confidence in the Lions that were on the line. Football world had confidence in there, kind of. Considering the fact that everybody kept pointing out, the Lions can't play out in the rain and in the weather conditions. They're going to
the
Lambeau.
Packers are one of the hottest teams coming into this game, and so that's what I'm saying.
And Minnesota was a hot team.
Yeah,
and Minnesota was a hot team too, and we beat them. So it's a combination of things. So in that game, like I said, it all is going to stem on the running game in this. I think really it's going to stem on the running game in this game. I really do. I think that that if the Green Bay can even get to stop our running game, which no team has really stopped. Chicago didn't even do that.
Our run defense is better than Chicago's this year. I forgot the ranking, but we are up ahead of them in that.
Well, I mean, the Lions have played some of the top rush defenses in the NFL and just shredded them. So
best running backs in the league, yeah.
Oh yeah, you listen to any of the shows that I'm on, we'll sit there and tell you that you're not stopping the Lions rushing attack. You have two very good running backs back there. You got to contain it is the thing.
Good luck with that.
It's been contained a couple of times.
Who?
I'd have to go back and look at it.
I don't think we've gone under 100 yards. Probably, maybe Tampa Bay. Maybe that was our only.
Well, as far as dual running backs, yeah, we haven't gone under 100 yards. But
yeah, we haven't gone under
games
100.
That Montgomery's got like 34 yards, and
yeah, but you got to remember they split the carries.
It's a two-headed monster. I think that's the difference that a lot of teams don't see. Like, see, Josh Jacobs doesn't really have to share the ball too much. He's basically your feature back. It's just like in Philadelphia, Saquon, in Baltimore, it's Henry. It's feature backs. And that's a good thing. I like that because, the running backs always get disrespected in this league, and I hate that shit. But when you have a two-headed monster with like the Lions have, you don't need one running back to get all those yards. You got two of them to share that. And as long as we consider our two running backs to be one running back, because they do a combination of what one running back could do if it was a running back that was, like a Henry or Saquon. And they can catch out the
Both
field.
Could be feature
One
backs.
could be fast. Yeah, I mean,
could be feature backs.
On some teams, they could be starting running backs. Yeah, just by themselves.
Yeah.
But, on this team, it's more of a weaponry kind of thing. The more weapons you have on offense, the better it is. You give somebody a look, it sets up that play action, which Goff is the best in the league at, in play action pass. And when you do that, and it's coming. And that's the thing about our offense. As a defense, they know it's coming, and they still can't stop it. And I attribute that
because nobody can stop our line, man.
Our offensive line is pretty damn good. So.
Now let me allude this real quick. You did say like if you guys can contain the run, that's the hope. But like it sounds to me like really you're gonna have to outscore us. That's what it's gonna come down to.
Yeah, I think
because if the Lions if you can't stop our run, we're gonna score points. It's just a given. We're gonna get first downs. We're gonna run the clock and all that. But can the Packers outscore more points than we make? And that's going to kind of allude to when my prediction comes around. But I do want to go over the stats real quick of the last game because it's kind of interesting. So for the last game, total net yards, 261 for Detroit, 411 for Green Bay. Rushing was 124 for Detroit, 138 for Green Bay. Passing was 137 for Detroit, 273 for Green Bay. Let's see. Anything else I want to add there? So yeah, basically just so y'all dominated us on the offensive side, like by at least doubled up on us in some aspects. But when I watched that game, I felt like I didn't see a lot of explosives from y'all. I think I felt like it was more dink and dunks type situations with y'all offensively, and then running Josh Jacobs, of course. I am surprised that our numbers are so low in that game. Now, maybe part of it was the rain because I think the Lions did expect to be more of a run base in that game because of the weather. But B, does that surprise you too that we were that bad offensively?
Yeah, we weren't bad offensively. We were efficient.
Well, I mean, just the stats.
See, the yards. This is what I can't. Just because you got 500 damn yards offensively, you didn't do the two things that you were supposed to do to the other team. Third down conversions, which you didn't stop, and you didn't stop us in the red zone.
Yep.
So when you don't do that, you're going to lose a lot of games.
Yeah.
I don't care if you get 630 damn yards. Let me tell you, attribute to that fact because the Lions did the same thing to Tampa Bay. We outscored, statisticalized them to death. It was like 400, same thing. It's like 400 to 200 yards to Tampa Bay, but Tampa Bay won. You know why?
We were terrible in the red zone.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And we couldn't stop them third downs.
Yeah, that's one thing that gives me more hope for this time is because we've actually been capitalizing on the red zone now instead of, we'd get a touchdown. Oh, it's coming back because there's a holding penalty on this guy, that guy, his grandmother. They were holding as much as they possibly could in the beginning of the year, especially Rasheed Walker, which really shocked me with how well he played last year. But now that we're getting more into the latter half of the season, he is not committing these penalties anymore, and he's back to last year's form, which I think is going to play a huge dividend.
Well, you also said, too, that offensively, red zone is looking better.
Yes.
The Lions' defense, red zone, is pretty damn good itself.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I definitely won't take that away from you.
So yeah, but I do think the red zone is where it's going to win. Whoever wins in the red zone, that's really what's going to determine the game. Because if we're scoring touchdowns, y'all scoring field goals, I mean, just do the math.
Well, let's go to this. Who on this panel, now I'm going to give this to Ken. Ken, who is the person that you think on the Lions that you worry the most about?
I'd probably say Gibbs.
Gibbs, really?
Yep. Because he's one of those guys that if you don't take the right angles at him, he can score anywhere on the field type of running back.
Yeah. You get him in space, he's pretty much gone.
And Nate, who is your biggest threat you feel on Green Bay?
Reed. Because of his because he's not a big guy, but he is slippery. And if you have breakdowns in coverage, he can get some easy plays on you. But he's boom or bust. So I mean, like if you cover him well, he's not a factor. If you don't cover him, he can blow the defense apart.
I was gonna say he's still pretty damn good when he's covered. It's the problem.
They don't give him enough. They don't give enough catches. That's the problem.
There you go. Is what I think the problem with it is the way that we have our offense designed. Of, hey, we're going to highlight this receiver this game. We're going to highlight this one this game, which I wouldn't care if it was just highlighting them, but don't be taking a shit ton of plays away from the playmakers on the team.
Now, is it more of the scheme that's not getting him enough catches, or is he not always getting open?
Oh, he's getting open. It's a lot of it is the scheme.
Would that fall on the quarterback of Love to get his best player the ball?
Yeah, generally yes. But the way
I have to disagree with that.
Designed, it's you look at parts of the field, not the entire field.
Well, I know.
I have to disagree with that. The quarterback runs the plays that the offensive coordinator puts out there. So if the play is going to Brown and he's wide open, he's going to go to him, even though J-Mo could be open in the same spot. I've seen Goff miss guys wide open just to throw a 3-yard flat, okay, to get a first down. And that's because it's the plays that are coming forth to him in his
Well,
helmet.
he's going to take.
He's going to take that shot. He's going to take what that play is first. He's not going to be out there. And see, that's a difference. This is what I'm saying. These are difference between quarterbacks. Okay, you have a quarterback like Tom Brady, the GOAT. Mm-hmm. Tom Brady will go outside that play box. He might see that 3-yard flat, but out the corner of his eye, he'll see whoever, Amendola, one of them dummies down there open. Mm-hmm. And he'll throw to the open guy that's going for the touchdown because he's an established quarterback. He's a veteran quarterback. He knows these plays. See, Goff hasn't. That's the reason why Goff is. He's a good quarterback when he runs this offense. He's a great quarterback when he runs this offense. But if you want to have him make them kind of decisions, he doesn't do that without the help of Ben.
Well,
Johnson.
he doesn't go. He doesn't.
Now,
well, he doesn't.
Ben Johnson will probably tell him when he comes to the sideline after the drive or whatever the case may be, he goes, you had Amon St. Brown wide open, even though you threw to Gibbs in a flat. So you might want to watch that next time. But see, Goff's not going to take that. He's just going to take what the hell the defense gives him immediately. If his first option is not covered. If his first option is not covered, or if his first option is covered, then he would do that. But he's not going to make that gambling shorts and throw it long when he even. I would
say like this. B. Goff throws to who he trusts, and he trusts St. Brown. He's really starting to trust J-Mo. He trusts Laporta. Like he throws to who he trusts.
I mean that's regardless of though. I mean if you have Amon St. Brown open and you're throwing at Gibbs on
who's usually always open. Like he's rarely ever. Not covered.
And that's what I'm saying. But you're going to trust a play that is called. If Gibbs is out there on a flat and he's wide open, he's going to throw that because like Ken said, Gibbs is spectacular. Well, he can turn that into a touchdown.
He's going to find.
But that will always happen. Let's be honest. I mean, it's a high offensive play, basically. And you throw it to the flat and he's wide open. That's a high.
It also depends where you're down.
If he throws to Amon St. Brown, he can overthrow him. He can short arm it.
It also depends where you're down at. Yeah, it also depends where you're down in distances too. If you need a first down, you're gonna go to your check down to get the first down instead of possibly overthrowing a wide open play and then having to punt the ball. And Goff is one of those guys that wants to keep the downs going, keep the sticks moving.
See,
and he's made that very clear.
I see it as Goff and Love are two polar opposites with the way that they read a defense. Goff reads from the bottom up, where Love reads from the top down.
Yep, you got it. That's exactly what it is. Yep. He don't ever. Goff is not the one that's going to read top to bottom because his bottoms are usually ones that are always open anyway.
But is that the way to go? Isn't it better to start from the bottom up because you got to look at your checkdowns, you got to look at your progressions, and then look at your deep routes rather than just looking to take the shot every time downfield?
See, I can get what you're saying, but especially with the mentality that I have for it, I want to check to see, hey, did any of these guys that are going on these deep routes beat their man right off the bat? And then that's when you go to them. If not, then you look to your check down. Hey, they're covered. Well, let's give a quick look back to the top. Nope. All right, throw it away.
Well, let's talk.
It's harder but see, this is the reason why Jordan Love gets in trouble too. It's harder for you to make that decision from top to bottom because you only have like 3 seconds or less of time to throw the ball.
And so you're anticipating the throw.
Your decision has to be quick. And this is where Jordan Love gets himself into trouble because he says, fuck it, I'm throwing it because he's out there and he's one-on-one coverage. He's going to get the ball.
He's hoping his receiver will make that one-on-one throw. He's hoping or make that one-on-one catch or make that 50-50 ball.
Yeah, he trusts his arm talent way too much. Yeah, I'll sit there and say, yeah, Jordan Love has A+ arm talent, but I would realistically put his decision making at a B- maybe.
Yeah, and a lot of strong arm quarterbacks are that way. Like they can throw the ball 70 yards, but can they always throw it on accuracy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we know with Jordan Love, he's floating usually somewhere around 50-55% because he's taking those shots.
So let's talk about those shots, because that is one thing that I think the last time we talked that I was concerned about with the Lions defense is that Jordan Love likes to take shots early in the game. Yep. I remember that last game in Detroit on Thanksgiving where he took shots early on that defense. And so I expected that in the last game to see that with him being home, and his receivers trusting more of his receivers downfield. I didn't see that as much. Now I do credit Detroit's secondary, Kirby and Brian Branch. It's very hard to throw deep on two guys that literally could take the ball away every play. Like, you guys got one player who can take the ball away at a high rate. We got two. And
we got another guy ascending, but he still needs a year.
Yeah.
And Evan Williams.
But, and also, too, Brian Branch is back in this game, too. Mm-hmm. Like, he's pissed for getting kicked out of that last game. So, that's my surprise for this coming game.
I mean, there's factors on both sides. I mean, your safety came back. He wasn't in that game.
Yeah, Evan Williams. I think
we're used to. I'm sorry, man. I'm used to Jair Alexander being out all these damn games. I mean, Green Bay people might think the world of him, but outside that, and I think a lot of people but availability.
Yes.
Is the best ability. And if you can't play, to me, you suck as a corner if you can't be out there in the field doing what you're supposed to be doing. So I'm sorry. I'm not a big Jair Alexander fan. I was at first.
Yeah, he's outstanding when he's out on that field. One of the absolute best corners in the league. But like you said, the problem is him being out on the field. Mm-hmm. That's why I've even mentioned on the Frozen Tundra there that we might want to look at drafting who's going to be his eventual replacement, because these injury seasons just keep starting to stack up for Alexander now that he's getting older.
I'll tell you the corner that I did like for Green Bay that I know you mad they gave up was Russell Douglas.
Yes. Oh, I was so pissed
when I found out you guys had sent him to Buffalo. I was like, "What the hell are Green Bay doing?
Yep.
He's their best corner right now."
I thought y'all were gonna get Cooper DeJean, man. Everybody had them and their mother getting y'all Cooper DeJean. I was like, please don't let him go to the Green Bay, please.
Believe me, if you watch that draft show that I did, you can see my face just drop once we passed on Cooper. Not once, but twice.
I'm surprised y'all passed on Quinion, y'all passed on Cooper, y'all passed on Terrian. Like, y'all.
Yeah, because I'm sorry, Jair Alexander, the little bit of time that he does play for you, okay, fine. I don't say he's the greatest corner either when he's playing. But
he's good.
At the same time, he's good. He's above average.
Yeah, he's good.
To me.
He's a little more than a
he's not a shutdown. He's not a
St. Brown bust his ass a few
he's not shut down anymore. He's
it's just a fact that he's okay. But you should have got somebody to replace him. Yeah. And that would have been either Mitchell or
I actually don't even mind I can see why they took the flyer on Alexander staying healthy. Mm-hmm. What completely baffles my mind is that they took the flyer on Stokes. That was another reason why I thought they would draft a cornerback, because of Stokes.
Rasul Douglas
he was such
for Stokes.
Mm-hmm. And of course, you had all the hype during the offseason and training camp of how great Stokes is looking. And he actually looked like he was finally starting to get back to his rookie form. As soon as the regular season started, the son of a bitch falls right on his face.
Right. I don't like Stokes anyway. I like Rasul Douglas. I was like, damn.
So who's gonna start for y'all's cornerbacks? Since Valentine's out and Alexander's out.
Valentine is out, not Valentine.
Oh, seems.
Yeah, believe me, we
Valentine is out. Okay, Valentine's out and Alexander's out. So who's gonna start for y'all?
So it's gonna be fucking Stokes and Keyshawn Nixon.
Oh,
Keyshawn,
punt returner and Stokes.
Keyshawn's not a bad corner. He will give some shit up, but he will also take the ball away too. So I can forgive him getting burnt a couple of times. Stokes, he's just out there freaking Kentucky Fried Chicken extra crispy.
Well, I don't know who's going to be covering JMO
Yeah, good luck with that.
because if
I
Stokes
could-
is
I
covering
could-
JMO,
I can already tell you who's going to be
Probably
covering,
Nixon,
and
probably Nixon.
it's going to be Stokes because
Oh God, you want to put Nixon with that
Stokes.
speed?
Stokes is actually the fastest guy on the team.
Oh wow.
He's insanely fast, but can't move off of a straight line.
Hmm.
Where I actually wouldn't mind if you put Nixon on JMO. That way you get Nixon's ball hawking opportunities, and take I'm drawing a freaking blank on the Bullard, and take Bullard, who usually plays our nickel spot, which he will be able to play again because he had to play safety for our last game since Evan Williams was out, and put him on Amon St. Brown. Now I know St. Brown's going to win some of them, but do not doubt Bullard in man coverage. He is pretty good.
I've seen Bullard play. Yeah, I mean, coming from Georgia, I'm a big SEC fan. I've seen him play. I mean, I've seen more big hits from him than anything. I don't know what his man-to-man grade on it, but I tell you what, man, he'll get his fair share with St. Brown because we're talking about St. Brown earlier. St. Brown, like the way he runs his routes and the way he gets open is some of the best that you see in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Like the foot movement, the cuts, all that. Like,
it's like us with Dontavian Wicks, except St. Brown doesn't have hands of stone.
Yeah, but he ain't St. Brown. Come on.
Yeah, Wicks is pretty dry.
I was gonna say, if you watch the tape, Wicks is open almost every freaking play. The problem is that you got to make sure that he's open enough where he can get a second chance at catching it.
Yeah,
you can bounce the ball up to himself.
I definitely like our chances with our secondary against y'all's receivers. The one that concerns me the most, really, Reed is y'all's best receiver, 100%. Mm-hmm. Reed is a guy who I think if you just keep him in the middle, you know, he's okay. You know, he's not. If you let him get past the defense, he can make those plays. You know, you use him into rounds, stuff like that. The one that worries me the most is Watson.
Yep,
because Watson has that big play threat, but he also has bad hands too.
He's done a lot better on his catching this year. He's actually being aggressive in attacking the ball, which was my biggest knock on him, is you'd see him just constantly waiting for it to get to him. Now, granted, he did drop that go-ahead touchdown a couple of games ago, which you can see really bothered him because he had turned the corner, and it was, oh, shit, this is peaking back up again, which... Yeah. With that happening, I don't think we're going to end up seeing it again the rest of the season with the type of player that Watson is. He's very hard on himself.
Is he your wide receiver too?
I wouldn't be shocked if he ends up being the number one guy.
Really?
Yes.
You think he's going to outseed Reed?
Yeah, because I see Reed is more of the Randall Cobb type of receiver, to where he's going to eat all these inside type of routes and that type of stuff, to where Watson is going to be your big play guy. And not only that, the guy's a freaking monster. He's like 6'5" or something ridiculous like that.
I don't know. I think Reed is kind of y'all's number one. I mean, when I watch the Packers play, Reed is the one that jumps off the thing.
We'll tell you, size ain't everything. No. Because we got 6 foot Amon St. Brown, and we consider him a number one wide receiver. Though he plays all the wide receiver positions.
Yeah, we consider him. Amon plays like 6'5". Like we can.
Amon plays like a slot receiver on it. Every damn receiver, a wide receiver one, beak. He's got good crisp routes. That's why he gets open.
It all, man. He's Heinz Ward.
He's not a fast guy at all. He is not a fast guy at all, but he's got great agility. That's what's good of him.
Yeah.
And you know, speaking of that set that we have to face, I don't know who you think Nate should be covering Reed.
Probably
Terry and Arnold.
or Meek. I mean, I guess it depends where they.
No. You don't want to put Meek on Jalen. No, you don't want to do that.
Meek's aggressive, man.
And that's the problem. First of all,
we're gonna say
doesn't make.
pay
Let
for
me tell
that
you
shit.
something. I saw Meek play CB2 when he was with the Raiders when they had the same issue that the Lions had at one point, and he didn't fare well. He's not a good he's not a good CB1.
But if they line up Reed in the slot,
but he's a good slot.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he has no choice because that's what he's going to be playing.
Right.
But Amik is good on the slot, but he 1 and 2.
Where is Reed playing mostly? Is he playing in the 2 or is he playing in the slot?
That's the thing, is it's very game plan dependent on if he's an outside receiver or inside. I personally like him on the inside more, but I don't have an issue with him playing as an outside receiver. I just like having the really big guys out on the outside. That way, if you got to toss it off.
That's the way it should be. Yeah, for sure. And especially if Love likes to go deep, you want to have – I keep saying this, man. 5'11", you can't throw a lot of deep balls to a 5'11" receiver.
Yeah, because they got to completely cook the guy to get open.
Exactly. And so – and even if you throw a 50-50 ball, the chances of them catching it are probably not very high because usually the cornerbacks are taller. You know, and if it's BB or it's freaking Kirby, it's game over. So, I mean, the way I look at it, I would probably say if it's in the slot, probably Meek. If it's outside, probably Terrian. I think that CD is going to probably be matched up with Watson because of his size ability, and CD's pretty crafty.
We got safeties.
I was going to say, how fast is this guy? Because we all know Watson's a burner.
Well, he didn't burn them the last game.
Oh, nobody was burning anybody on the Packers offense.
They really weren't. Nobody was burning.
Well, that credits AG. That's AG's doing because he put enough pressure on Love.
Yeah, I think that had pretty much to do with the weather too.
Well,
you can't run on
that turf all the time.
Let me tell you something. That has nothing to do with it. If it's raining,
it does.
Let me tell you, it's a different. Because it has nothing to do with that. It doesn't make a difference if you play on that turf at all every day. It's the better prepared team. I think that's where the Lions won that game because they were a better prepared team. However, in saying that, nobody got 100 yards receiving in that game. Okay, because it's hard to run in rain. Even if you got cleats on, it's slippery as fuck, and you're playing on natural surface. So let me tell you, I was a cornerback in it was high school. It's different from the NFL by a lot, but you still have to backpedal, and you still have to get your foot to turn, and that's hard as hell to do that. So, and it's receivers do the same thing because they know if they have to make a cut to do a route, they know they can slip, and that's in their head. That's in receivers' heads when they're out there playing in that kind of weather because they know they got to put them cleats on. They know if they make a cut, they might slip and bust their ass. So it's everybody in those kind of it just who's the better prepared for it. That was the whole thing about that game.
Yeah, and that's why I made the comment of I hope after that game when they went back to the locker room, LaFleur went up to the equipment manager and gave him about 2 good-hearted backhands.
Well, I think he should have given the whole team
get his players
a couple
prepared.
backhands because they need to come in there more prepared than they were. That wasn't just an equipment thing. That had to do with the players themselves. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I'm not denying that. I don't know how, with a divisional matchup like that, we came and played so lackluster because you were seeing drops from guys that don't drop the ball like Tucker Kraft. I couldn't believe the drop that he had that led to the interception there.
Yeah, he had. Yeah, I think he was the one that dropped the pass in the end zone.
No, it wasn't in the end zone. He
didn't drop one in the end zone. He didn't drop the interception was a tip. That was Alex or somebody.
No, because didn't Love throw a couple interceptions that game?
No, I think he just did one.
So 1 pick six. That's it.
Oh, I thought he threw.
No, he was pretty clean for that game.
He was pretty clean after that.
Yeah.
After that, yeah, he kind of his ship kind of righted back up, but his receivers weren't helping him.
Yeah.
Hell no.
So I think that was a lot. Like I said, everybody wasn't prepared on one side of the ball, and that's the reason why that game was so lopsided the way it was.
I want to go back. I want to go back to that game for a sec because I think one of the things that the Lions did do well, and I think they would have done this even with Love healthy, is put pressure on him. And they brought different types of pressure in different ways. And that was before we got to Darius Smith. Now that we got Zadarius Smith, now we have a legit pass rusher who can literally wreak havoc on a quarterback. Before that, we were just generating pressure from anybody and anybody we could find. What?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that whole unique thing there. Isn't Zadarius Smith used to play for Green Bay, didn't he?
Oh yeah. Just like
he played for everybody in the North.
I was going to say
except for Chicago,
Minnesota too. That's why I didn't get the Lions fans that were saying, "Oh, aren't you going to be nervous about having Zadarius there when he was on your team before? He played us when he was on the Vikings, and we handled him. I'm not worried."
Yeah. But that's why I think AG is really going to be in his bag this week is that I think he's going to bring a lot of pressure from different ways, and he's got more utility parts to use now. And Brian Branch will be there for a whole game, hopefully.
Well, I was going to say that's what you hope.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
He will.
He'll be fine. But the way give me your biggest matchup to exploit against us. And then B, I'll ask you the same question for them.
Oh, the biggest matchup to exploit is, I think, putting that ball in Goff's hands, because you see if Goff is throwing multiple times, he is going to give you that ball some way, somehow, whether it's an interception or a fumble.
Goff's been pretty efficient throwing the ball. Like, you mean like if he's like having to throw 40, 50? That means that y'all are assuming you're going to stop the run is what you're saying.
Right. It is to slow the run down enough where you guys call more passes than you do runs.
We saw that against Tampa Bay. That ain't going to happen.
I was going to say, because that what I'm saying is going to lead to a not too good of an outcome.
Well, that Tampa Bay game was an epiphany, actually, I think, to Ben Johnson, because I think Ben Johnson was trying all sorts of shit then. He said, what would have happened if I had Goff throw for 55 fucking times? We could win that way, can't we? Yeah. So we still got 100 yards rushing in that game, but he threw for like 300 yards, and that's on 55 attempts. I'm like, dude, why are you having him throw every fucking down, dude? No, that's not.
I don't think Goff's even thrown that many attempts probably. Since
I don't think he's done that the entire time he's been here.
Yeah,
maybe when he first got here in the first season he was here. But other than that, I don't think he's thrown for that. No.
So you're going back to what you said, Ken. You're saying that you're assuming the Lions will stop the run to make Goff throw more. That's what you're saying? Yeah,
that they'll be able to contain it enough for Goff to have to sling it around. And as we saw in Houston, that you can make Goff make some mistakes out there.
Yeah, well, when the pressure's on, I mean, if you want to go there, I would be like, you're putting pressure on our O-line. Will give Goff to make mistakes.
That's why I want to see us blitz Quay Walker like absolute crazy.
Please blitz us, because Goff's one of the best of the blitzes. So please blitz us.
It's okay, because Quay Walker has been outstanding on the pass rush when we actually do blitz him. The problem is that we're one of the lowest teams in blitzing.
Yeah, because you got a decent defensive line and linebackers.
Yeah, you can rush enough with 4.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, we weren't getting pressure in the beginning of the season rushing 4. We had
Aiden Hutchinson
pressure pretty much since the bye week. Just like that's when Gary started coming alive.
Do you know that when we lost Hutchinson, AG turned to the blitz 41% more times than he did ever when Aiden Hutchinson was in there? So we're going to be blitzing. So I'm sure that their offensive coach and LaFleur will be like, yeah, they're going to be blitzing on these plays, because we've been blitzing a lot. We're one of the highest blitzing teams right now, because we don't have Aiden Hutchinson, and allude to the fact that we have a lot of our players hurt. which makes sense if you think about it.
And we also can't forget last year, Jordan Love was one of the absolute best quarterbacks against the blitz. This year, it wasn't so much, but if he gets it all to that form of last year, which it seems like it's trending towards, and I will say seems, that he's going to make you pay if you're blitzing that much.
Yeah, last year your offensive line was better. This year, I don't think your offensive line was as good as it was last year. By far,
the pressure is what's going to come down to. Who gets more pressure on the quarterback?
Yeah, and the offensive line has been playing freaking outstanding because shit, even Chicago and New England there did not get much freaking pressures, and New England does not have a bad pressure rate for their team.
Mm-hmm.
You know, another thing is too, the one person that was missing from the Green Bay's offensive line was the center, because they had to move Fatty over there, and Myers couldn't do. Yeah, Myers was absent, so we'll see him.
And we had Jenkins, who had probably taken a total of 20 freaking snaps at center all year long. This, I think, is going to be a major difference in that you're not going to be able to get anywhere near as much pressure because people are playing in their correct positions.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of back and forth. I mean, you can say that, but we can also say you can have a pass rusher that can wreak havoc like Zadarius Smith is doing right now. I mean, he's only had 2.5 sacks since he's been here. You know, and the thing is that not having Reader there is going to be huge, because if Reader was there, you ain't stopping Reader and McNeil inside. With Reader not being there, I don't know what Broderick's going to do. So McNeil's going to have to be more of he's usually the 3 tech, but he's going to probably have to be more of the inside run stuffer, you know? So it's going to take away interior pressure from McNeil, which he's been balling out lately, you know? So it's going to be interesting, because I do think AG will bring pressure for sure.
That's the reason why I said I want to see how the Lions do defensively against Josh Jacobs, because they don't have one of their main forces at defensive tackle. They have a Lee McNeil there, and like I said, it could have been done. It could have been due. They didn't stop him last time too much. I think he didn't get 100 yards, but he got overall with the running backs. Most of his yards in the first half. He got most of them. Yeah. Well, the point of the he didn't. They weren't running in the second half because they had to catch up.
That's what I'm saying. They stopped running.
So the point I'm trying to make is if they can stop him in a dry condition. You know what I'm saying? In a one that's both for both teams, because it's a fast track on that turf. Sure. So if Josh Jacobs, they can stop Josh Jacobs.
Yeah. And I will say, do not discredit our second running back, Emmanuel Wilson. He's got like a 6.1 yard per carry average this year, and he's been getting big chunks when they're putting him in the game. He's getting a lot of 10, 15-yard runs out of it. So it's not like, oh, Jacobs is on the sideline, we can kind of relax a bit, because he's almost the perfect complement to Jacobs' running style, where Jacobs is hard-nosed workhorse running back. You got Wilson, who's more of the shifty type of guy.
I'm glad that y'all are giving him rest,
Lions aren't going to do that. First of all, they're not going to be like, "Oh, this guy's coming in, like we can take a break."
And you have to.
That wouldn't be the Lions. That would not be the Lions. Not this Lions team.
You can't run Jacobs out the whole game. Like he's going to get hurt. You have to have other backs to spell those backs.
Mm-hmm.
All right, B, give me your matchup to exploit against the Whackers.
As far as offensively,
or either way, doesn't matter.
I mean, offensively, I would just say I would try to, when we're in passing situations, I would try to exploit their corners, because they don't have either one of their good corners out there. So
exactly,
I would try to exploit that. Make sure they're short passes too, because
you don't want to get near our.
They're like McKinney and what's the other guy's name?
Williams.
Yeah, Williams. Both of them are just like Branch and Kirby. So you don't want to throw. You don't want to overthrow anybody. You don't want to run your receivers in the territory like Caleb did with DJ Moore when Kirby smashed his ass. But you don't want to do that kind of stuff. You want to keep it in a pretty much in the middle of the field. He needs to just continue his short, but he needs to recognize that fact. I really don't see. I'm not concerned about our offense, to tell you the truth. I'm not. Our defense is the one that's got to be the one that stops. Josh Jacobs is the key to this game again.
Sure. Yeah.
There's no rain this time. No excuses.
Well, that benefited him. I mean, because of the rain.
That's what I'm saying. Was it him or was it defensive line? Because like I said, we are sixth in the league against the run, fifth in the league against the run. Sorry. So we do allow some big plays.
The way I look at it with Josh,
Kenneth, what's his name? Kenneth Walker had some big plays against us. He had 3 damn touchdowns. Shit.
God, that was like a long
time.
And
he's not really on the level of Josh Jacobs. I mean, he is, but Josh Jacobs is just above him. So we can't allow Josh Jacobs to be running like that.
Another thing too about Josh Jacobs, and I've watched the last couple of games with him, he broke a lot of tackles, and some of them were also just horrible tackles. Let's just be honest. He somewhere missed. He caused them, but some of them were just horrible tackling.
I love when somebody tries to arm tackle him. It is freaking hilarious.
Yeah, I mean,
he's a big dude.
So that's what I'm saying is like a lot of his yards come after missed tackles.
Yep.
So Detroit's got to get him on the ground the first time, because if you try to go and tackle him more than once and don't make it, that's where he gets more speed and more. He's like Monty. Monty's the same way.
Oh, even if you get him behind the line, you'll still see him break a shit ton of tackles. I couldn't tell you how many negative plays he's turned.
That's why you got to get him on the ground the first time.
I think the thing this also leads into that's a perfect point right there. Missed tackles. Against Chicago, there were a lot of missed tackles in that game by defensive players that aren't starters. This is the reason why I'm saying that this makes heads. They got to stop Josh Jacobs. If they got to fucking gang tackle his ass, they got to stop him.
You guys should be swarming to that ball anytime Jacobs is sniffing it.
Exactly.
And normally that
because they got to tackle. They haven't been tackling that well because they're not starters. They're not used to going out there and playing 20, 50, 30 plays.
I mean, dude, we're down. What, our 3 starting linebackers, our 4th linebacker. I mean, when you talk about run defense, it starts a lot with the linebackers, and so you're talking.
The tackling is like a base. I get pissed off about that anyway because tackling is a basis.
I mean,
if you don't learn that stuff in Pee Wee League, you're never going to learn it because you got to learn how to tackle. I don't care if you're a secondary player. You should learn how to tackle. You should be.
But what I'm saying is our best tacklers are all out right now. Yeah. Jack is the only one that's holding down the spot, and probably Long will probably be starting next to him. I think probably for this game, and then who else knows? Quan or Nowoski or Meeman. I can't even tell you, man. We got a bunch of
mixed bag of tricks there.
got a lot of Jags like
I said, would say. I'm not worried about the secondary. I'm really not. We got all our players in there, plus a couple more that we didn't have.
And that's key, B, because if we can stop Jacobs, and our secondary is holding down the forwards, all we got to do is get pressure on Love. That's all we got to do, and Zadarius can do that. Like I have all the faith in him that he can wreak havoc inside, and
all of them can do pressures on him.
You better hope you got Zadarius lined over our right guard in center combo, because if he's got to go against our offensive tackles, he's going to be in for a hell of a time, especially Zach Tom. If it wasn't for Sewell, I would say that Zach Tom is the best right tackle in the game.
Zach Tom is a good tackle.
Sewell is that step above him right now.
He's way.
That's a big ass step too. Zach Thomas, it's a good ass tackle.
I like Zach Thomas. Did you see Zool on Thanksgiving? Did you see Zool on Thanksgiving? Like, this guy's just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think the thing that makes Sewell better than a lot of offensive linemen in general, because he's really athletic. You don't really get a lot of athletic offensive linemen.
Yeah.
And this dude can do everything. He could go out and run a route. I mean, the dude is that good. So if the Lions if Ben's got him doing all kinds of shit on the offense that has nothing to do with blocking, you know what I'm saying, then you know you got some special player right there.
Sewell's going to catch.
That's the only reason why I said he's a step from Zach Tom. I like Zach Tom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I do. He's a very good tackle.
Yeah.
He's probably the anchor. He's probably like Sewell is to our offensive line. He is the anchor on that offensive line.
1,000%. I think
Yeah.
Zach Tom is stronger than Sewell, but I will agree with you that Sewell has him on the agility aspect. Not saying that Zach Tom ain't agile, because he's one hell of an agile offensive lineman. But like you said, Sewell's out there running routes and shit. And I swear to God, if I see Zach Tom running any route, I'm going to lose my shit.
I think we're all losing our shit when we saw Sewell trying to throw the ball. Like, no, throw it.
Yeah.
And get out of bounds.
Though. He took his sack.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna wrap up and let's talk about predictions. So we all know who we're all going for. But
Of course.
Let's do it this way. Give me your prediction. Give me a bold take, and give me your MVP of the game. We'll start with you, Ken.
28-21 Green Bay. And to preface that, I think whoever wins is going to win by a touchdown, to be honest with you.
Okay.
But I'm going to say for my MVP of the game, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say it's going to be Watson, that he's going to have himself a multiple touchdown game.
Very well could happen.
And what was the third question there?
Bold take.
Oh, bold take.
Yeah. It could be a bold take too. Either one.
I'll say my bold take is that Jared Goff's going to have 3 turnovers, whether it's interceptions or fumbles.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Hey,
Well,
you said
that's a recipe right there. That's a recipe right there. I mean, if he turns the ball over 3 times, more likely it's probably not going to be a good chance of winning the game unless it's the Texans. So.
Yeah, who can't capitalize on shit or play in the second half of any game.
But the defense played well too. So gotta give them the props.
The defense wasn't bad, but that offense couldn't do shit. And they have
the defense. The defense got 2 turnovers.
Well, we also seen the Texans have had quite a bit of second half collapses against other teams too.
You also saw what we did to Mixon too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mixon did do shit on us at 46 yards. But anyways, go ahead, B. What you got?
So I'm going to get this one real close. I do think this is going to be a close-ass game. Yeah. And I think it's going to be higher scoring than that 27 or 27 is 28 to 21.
What you got, B? Tell me.
I got 35-32 Lions. I think my bold take is that Jordan Love will throw another pick 6.
Ooh,
I'm just saying that. Because that's
who's going to do it, B?
I really think this is going to be an exciting, close game, man. I'm telling you right now. And again, this is one of those games that, like I said about the Chicago game, everybody wants to say, "Oh, we're going to blow them out by 30 points."
The Packers want this so bad. I guarantee you, they want
that's
this
the reason
more
why
than life itself.
You're facing a lot of backups on defense.
Yep.
And not that the Lions aren't going to want this game either, because if they beat Green Bay, you know how our playoff implications are if we beat Green Bay.
We win the North.
We're going to get a playoff spot basically if that happens.
Well, we win the North basically. Yeah,
that's a clinch a playoff spot. I'll put it to you that way. But if we do that, that's 4 wins in the division. Mm-hmm. So you don't think the Lions don't want that? You don't think Dan Campbell's been preaching to him about that whole thing? So the intensity on both sides of the ball for Green Bay, and it's going to be a hard hitting, smack you in the mouth, smack your mama in the mouth kind of football. So it's going to be high scoring because I really don't see either defense stopping either one of us right now as far as offensively. My bold take, I say Jamo gets 2 touchdowns, 150 yards, because I don't think it's going to be able to cover.
I think the pick 6 was going to be a bold take.
Well, no, actually, should I say Jamo's going to get 2 touchdowns and 150 yards, because I don't think anybody can cover him. Just like he has a Christian, the Watson one. Yeah, mm-hmm. I'm agree with him on that one too. I don't think anybody's gonna be able to cover Christian Watson that well. So that, yeah. And 35, like I said, 38 to 35. Bakes kicks a late a game-ending field goal.
Oh
Because it's going to be tied 35-35
God.
with like a couple minutes left in the game.
Well,
So
if it comes to the kickers, I like our chance with Bates for sure. All right, I'm with you, B. I think with all the injuries, it's going to be tough for the defense to have another stellar game. I think the offense really picks up the load this game. I'm going to say 37-30. I do agree, like Ken said, with a touchdown victory. I think the Lions get a touchdown victory. And my bold take.
I hear it.
I
thought I heard a dog.
I know. I was trying to think of something.
That's a Ken over there doing.
Yeah. My bold take will be oh man, I shouldn't say this, but it feels like it has to be a bold take. Terry and Arnold will get a pick. I do think it's coming at some point, but who knows, man? I mean, he's had some chances, but
that's a bold take, yeah.
Yep.
That is a bold take, yes. And my MVP, are you ready, B? Mr. Brian Branch. He is going to be lights out, pissed off for getting thrown out of that fucking game, and he's going to throw 2 birds in the air, and he's going to have 2 picks to show.
That's what I'm saying. This game is going to be highly intensified. That's all there is to it. Yeah. It's a division game.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a couple of fights this game.
Yeah, I wouldn't be either.
Because Green Bay, for the first time in like 15 years, actually has a chippy team. It's awesome.
Well, you got Quay Walker pushing staff members and throwing his helmet off. So who knows with Quay? You got to keep his head on straight.
Hey, you know what pisses me off about this division? Lions finally got a great team, and they're doing well. And the Packers and the Vikings got the audacity to be just as good. The audacity. Yeah. We don't even think Chicago is okay in their defensive. They suck every other way.
But we saw that happen in B because maybe not the Vikings. I think the Vikings they've just had a good run. They do have Justin Jefferson. Be fair, and they did take Aaron Jones.
I think everybody did say NFC North was going to be a reckoning this year.
Yeah, yep. I think the Vikings were the one team that nobody really expected to be this good.
Oh, absolutely. I thought the Vikings were going to be in the basement, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So, I mean, with the Packers and the Lions, I think that was expected. They would joust for the top seed. So, all right. Well, Ken, thank you for coming on the show. Go ahead and plug your show real quick, and then we're going to send you off. We'll wrap it up, B.
You can catch me every morning at 10 a.m. Central, besides Saturday mornings, with either Ken and Ken in the morning or the Red Zone Rant. And then Friday nights at 7 p.m. Central, you got the Frozen Tundra Network.
How's Ken doing with all those Bears losses, man?
Not well.
He ain't got shit to say, huh?
Not well. We'll leave it at that.
What was that? When somebody
keep trying to tell him.
Go ahead, B.
No, that's what we kept trying to tell him.
Yeah, I feel bad for the guy because, like, man, some of those losses just been hard to, like, if we lose, B, it's going to be hard to come on the show and talk
those
about
losses were like the same old Lion losses. Those are kind of losses those were.
Dude, I straight up said the Bears have taken over for the Lions of being a complete dumpster fire.
Yeah. And it's because it's all about who they put in charge. Poles has had some moments, but they don't have the right coach. You can't have one without the other. Look at the Lions: Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
Packers,
look at Green Bay. You got LaFleur
and Goody.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Successful organizations, franchises start with the top and the coaching. If you don't have either one of those, you're fucked.
And then the third thing is a quarterback. You gotta have a good winning quarterback. They got Love and we got Goff. So
that's because you have a good franchise that starts with that. So and the lines always got to be good too, defensively and offensively. So they build from the lines out.
All right, Ken. Well, thank you very much for coming on.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on there, guys.
Yeah, if you want to, if you want to after this next one, if come on and eat crow.
I'll come on with my big cheese eating smile.
All right. We'll hold you to that, man. Well, good luck. Good luck tomorrow.
Yep. Good luck to you guys too.
All right. Thanks, buddy.
Right. Yep. I'll see you.
All right. Yeah, that was fun, B.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
I like Ken. Ken is a good guy.
He's one of those. He's one of those Whacker fans where I'm like, I can listen to what he says because he makes sense of what he's saying. He's not speaking ignorance. He's not speaking nonsense. He's not trolling. He actually has a good pulse on his team.
Yeah,
and I agree with you, man. This is going to be a close game. The Packers really want this win more than anything. I think if the Lions obviously want to win out. That's the main goal. Win out, get the 1 seed. But I would say coming into this game, the Packers are more desperate than the Lions are. Because if they lose this game, they pretty much concede the division. And so and then they would have to have the trolls come out and say that they got swept by the Lions again. And so I think they're going to come out and they're going to hit us in the mouth early. I definitely feel like it's going to happen that way.
Oh yeah.
And how the Lions respond to that will tell me everything early on in this game. And I expect them to come out and really, fight back. This is going to be a back and forth, and it's going to come down to red zone defense on both sides, who turns over the ball more than the other side, and who makes the plays. And so the Lions should come out on top. They're at home. If this was in Green Bay, I might have a little bit more of a side. Well, okay, we might lose this game. But we're playing at home. The Lions are very good at home. Hopefully, I don't know if they're going to rock the black jerseys. I would love them to rock them.
They ain't going to do that until Buffalo. They're going to do all
they're going to do Buffalo?
Blueberries. Yeah, Buffalo's going to be the black jerseys.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to understand something. At the beginning of the season, the team puts out pins. Those labels they put on there like sports casters put on there. They put those on, but they show those pins before the season starts, so who's going to wear the black jerseys are going to be worn. This is a hack that I just learned like about four weeks ago. So this is how I know that Buffalo is going to be the black jerseys, because they got that pin with the blue helmet with the black in it. That's how you know it's the black jerseys.
All right. Well, good. I mean,
we're doing the blueberries though.
Or undefeated the blueberries. So we got to keep going.
Yeah.
Hey man, it's all about superstitions. All right, man. Well, yeah, this is a good show. Thanks for Ken having on. Next week we'll have what's your friend's name?
Next week is Kevin.
Kevin's a big Buffalo Bills fan.
Oh yeah.
Look forward to having him on. No one circles the wagons better than the Buffalo Bills. Man, that's a tough game. That's gonna be
be a real tough game. Yeah.
Lions. Real quick, B. Like I was looking at the schedule, and give me your honest opinion. What do you think the Lions? Let's go through real quick the final part of the schedule. So we have the Whackers tomorrow. We have Buffalo after that next Sunday. Then we go to Chicago. Then we go to who am I missing?
San Francisco.
San Francisco, and then we
Vikings are last.
Vikings at home. What's our record? The last 5 games.
Well, we're going to sweep the division. So Green Bay and Minnesota are going to be losses, and we're going to beat San Francisco. San Francisco's a shell of themselves now, so I don't care where we play them at. We're going to.
So you got 3 wins right now, okay?
Got 3 wins. The 2 wins that actually, Chicago is going to be a problem. Yeah, I think that the offensive, getting rid of E14 is probably the best thing that Chicago could have done at this point in the season. Mm-hmm. And I do like their offensive coordinator because he keeps things basic for Caleb, and that's why Caleb's been so successful these last 3 or 4 games.
He's got to.
And their defense is still on point. I don't see any, unless they have a major injury on their defense. I mean, I still see that's going to be a rough game because it's outside. I know that we won a game outside. We won 2 games outside technically. But I mean, that's going to be a tough game, and Buffalo is going to be tough. We're not going to be able to. We might not sweep the division. We might get one loss. We might be 5-1. But I tell you what, if any team I would lose to or want to lose to, even if I didn't want to lose to, it would be Buffalo, because Buffalo is a class ass team, and Josh Allen is like no quarterback that we face. So that's the difference.
Could be a preview of the Super Bowl.
Could be a preview of the Super Bowl, yeah. And if that's the case, I mean, if we come in there with the same defense that we have against Green Bay, Josh Allen is very good with his legs. He knows when to run, and he's a big guy, so it's hard to tackle his ass. And he's a better version of Lamar Jackson. That's what I call him.
Yeah.
He's just not as fast as Lamar. But other than that, the Buffalo, I really have iffies about that one. In Chicago, because Chicago's whole situation.
I was thinking about it real quick about the injuries that we have in the game right now. The Pascal Levi thing, I think that's just injuries from the Thanksgiving. They're going to let them rest up. Decker and Reeder. This tells me that the Lions feel like they can beat the Whackers, but they need those guys for Buffalo, because you're going to have all hands on deck going against that juggernaut in that team. But
so you got to weigh in the fact too. I think they'd rather have other players for a divisional game, because if we sweep our division or have a winning record in our division anyway, that's we're going to win the division. That was the key point that Dan Campbell made at the beginning of the season. We got to win the division.
Sure. No, that's where it starts.
So everything comes through us. Buffalo, if we lose to Buffalo, it's not that detrimental to lose to Buffalo, because it's an AFC game. Yeah, it has nothing to do with our standings in the NFC. I mean, maybe Philadelphia might catch up with us, but at the same time, and Philadelphia does have a good AFC win. They beat Baltimore. So,
in a fairly
maybe at that point, might be in, but I just don't think I think Buffalo is a great game. It'll be a really good game, but if they lose, I'm not going to be heartbroken about it. But if we lose,
you lose to a very good team in Buffalo. Yeah, I mean, that's hats off to that team. You'll probably see them again in the Super Bowl and beat them.
Because we'll have everybody back. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, B. I think I see the same thing. I've gone on records already that we're going to sweep the division, so I'm going to stick with it. It's looking good so far. I actually had us beat Buffalo, so we'll see, man. These games are gonna be tough, and we just gotta hope and pray that we don't see any more heavy injuries, because our defense.
Well, I had the Lions going 14-3, and they're 11-1. Which right now would probably be, let's see, I had them losing to Green Bay and Houston. So they would be 10-2 in my book at this point.
Yeah, I had them losing to Houston and Dallas.
Chicago. So the next team that I had them losing to was to Chicago in Chicago. So I didn't have them losing to Buffalo or Green Bay the second time around, or San Francisco or Minnesota. So
that Chicago game doesn't concern me, because they did play us tough and probably should have won that game. Just like the last 2 years, they've played us tough. And for whatever reasons, we play like crap in Chicago. Like, I can't remember the last time the Lions played a good game in Chicago.
I want to see what happens to the defense when Eberflus loses. I mean, since they've lost Eberflus, because Eberflus is a defensive coach. So I want to see what happens if they, continue to maintain what they do. Or the defense falls off, because we saw that with a couple of teams, like when Salas left in the Jets, their defense fell way to fuck off. They were a really good defense.
Well, yeah, because the emphasis goes on the offense, because it's an offensive-minded coach, and they just hope that the good defensive players won't miss a beat. So that's a good point. Yeah, I mean, I definitely see an uptick in their offense and a little bit of a downtick on their defense. So. Yeah, man, we'll see. It's going to be a tough battle. The Lions can definitely do it. They have the right mindset. They have the right players. They have the right culture, everything in front of them. I think that I'm probably a little bit more worried about this game than I should. And it's probably because of the injuries. The injuries are probably the only reason why I'm worried about this game. If we had all our healthy dudes, I wouldn't be worried at all because the defense has been playing lights out. But you lose some big players and big names.
Mm-hmm.
It's your backups aren't as good. So hopefully I'm wrong.
Yeah, hopefully.
All right, buddy. All right, man. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap up the show. It was a little bit longer today, but hey, it was always good. Thank you for Ken coming on the show. Enjoyed it. Jay, we'll see you next week for Buffalo and Detroit. Your friend, I'm sorry, what was your friend's name again?
Kevin.
Your friend Kevin will be on the show next week to chop it up with us for the Buffalo talk. And they play at 4:00. So I think we'll probably still do the usual 11:30 on Sunday, right? That works for you?
Yeah. Let me see. I thought they were going to move this to a Monday night game too.
They talked about it, but then they announced it after Thanksgiving that they were gonna do it.
Stick with it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so 11:30. We'll be back on 11:30 Sunday for Buffalo and Detroit. Kevin will be on the show. Jay will be back, and we'll chop it up like we always do. Any final thoughts before we wrap this up?
Nope, just go Lions. Let's get this W. Get this division semi-wrapped up by this time.
Defend the den. That's den.
Right.
Man. That's all these games that even Buffalo, it's at our house. That's the main thing. You're not having to go to Buffalo. You got to defend the den, man, because when it comes to playoffs, we want all the games in our den so we can take them out and go to Super Bowl.
That's right.
All right, buddy. Well, have a good night. Always fuck the Whackers, fuck the Bears, fuck the Vikings. This is the One Ass Cheeks, Three Toes signing off. Y'all have a good night. Go Lions.
Go Lions.
We some lions, don't let the boys get loose. About to play with our food any day that we choose. We some lions, got them all listening. Time to make history, I want a victory. Lions, don't let the boys get loose. About to play with our food any day that we choose. We some lions, got them all listening. Time to make history, I want